Well, here we are. You've got all your blocks, your 12 blocks, and this is how you join together. So I'm using 2 of the blocks you have done. I will have given you this sheet which tells you exactly what to do for both the binding and the joining, but I will now show you. Okay, so you need your 2 blocks. Ensure that you've cut these nice and clean, so when they butt up together they're going to join well. So let me put those to the side a moment. Then you're going to need 2 strips. You're going to need a strip that's 1.5 inches and a strip that's 1 inch. The 1.5 inch one is the front one, and the inch one is the back sashing. Now I have chosen fairly strong colours so that I can demonstrate it properly. They're also quite stiff because you need to starch these because you don't want them to be distorted or anything, and I have starched these twice and then ironed them. So any starch, this is the one I use, but you can use any starch. So that one is for the back and this one is for the front. However, this one needs to be folded over in half and ironed, and I prepared one already. So this is this 1.5 inch one, folded in half and ironed. So what's going to happen is this one, the back, is going to be put down that way, facing up. That's the back, that's right side up. And then you're going to take your first block and you're going to put that on it. These are called raw edges, ladies. You can see there, look, there's the top, the wadding and the backing, and there is my 1 inch strip. So I'm going to put that there. Then you're going to take the folded and starched top sashing on, and you're going to butt that up against that. So what you've got now are all the raw edges together. You've got the folded over 1.5 inch top, and you've got your block, and then you've got your inch back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that over. Some people might want to put clips on that. You could do, that's fine, but I am not going to do that. So I'm going to take it over to the machine now, and then I'm going to stitch along here 1/4 inch all the way down with a small stitch so that it secures it well. Okay, here we are now at my sewing machine. I've got all the layers. So I've got the back sashing facing up, I've got my block, and I've got the top folded sashing on the top. That's the clip I meant. You could clip them there. However, I find that you've got to start sewing and you've got to stop I would say every 2 inches or even less if you were paranoid, to make sure all those 3 layers are aligned. So I've got my quilting 1/4 inch seam allowance foot on, so that's going to be easy for me. So I'm going to start sewing 1/4 inch from the raw edges. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to do this in real time because I'm going to stop there now to make sure my back sashing is aligned and my top sashing is as well. That's it. Okay. And again, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put that in line. And my top sashing. There we go. And again, stop. all the way to there. Please notice as well that I made sure that the sashing, both back and top, is longer than the actual block. That's because, as you know, fabric does distort and does move, and what you don't want to end up with is a little bit short, because you just have to unpick and start again. So I always do it a good inch either end to make sure. You can see the tiny stitch I've had there. What we're going to do now is leave this top bit alone, but what we're going to do is we're going to finger press the back sashing over. I'm going to finger press it, but what I am going to do as well is just run gently, run the iron over it. And that is the smell of the starch is beautiful. The starch will help you keep that straight. Okay, here we got the block that we've been working on, that we've added the back sashing and the front sashing, and here's the second block which I want to attach. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip that over. Then I'm going to bring this over here, but I want it facing up, and that's where people go wrong, including myself. So now I'm going to make sure my top and my bottom is all matching. So now what we've got here is we've got face right side up, the original block, and the second block face down, right side down, against the back sashing. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew it. So if you imagine now I've sewn all the way down there, what you're going to end up with is the back sashing unit. Okay, here we are back in my machine. There's all my layers. Look, here's the original top block facing up. There's the block I'm attaching facing down with the back sashing on the top. So now again, using my 1/4 inch foot, I'm going to sew all the way down. Again, stopping just to make sure everything is aligned on this side, all the raw edges there. Don't forget, leave this part. Got nothing to do with that part yet. I cannot stress, be fussy, because you don't want your measurements to go all skew. Just get to the end. Now, what we should have now is on the back, there's the front. What you can see at the front now is they should butt up against each other. You should be able to lift your... And if there's any, that's a little bit big. Oh no, it's when I stretch it out, it's not too bad. I'm going to iron it in a moment. But let me tell you, ladies, if that, they don't meet, I got to say, that does meet perfectly. But if it didn't, you could trim this, because nobody's ever going to see this, because ultimately you're going to be putting that over there and you're not going to see it. So if to avoid any bulk, you could trim that a little bit. But basically what we're going to do now, that's your back look. So there's that lovely sashing on the back, nice and straight. We're going to iron that and then do the front. Okay, so here are my 2 blocks with the back sashing. I've ironed that a little bit. You can see how lovely that is. So now flip it over, and now we're going to use this. Again, like the back sashing, what I'm going to suggest you do is use your nail and just do that initial, making it go over. As I say, if there's too much bulk here, just give it a little trim. So for example, I might say to myself, that's a little bit too much there. So I'm just going to trim a little bit because I don't want a bulky seam. So you could do that. I don't mind. I didn't have to do that. I just wanted to demo that. So once you've done that finger press, what you're going to do then is just give it a, be patient. Can use steam. I haven't got any water in mine, I don't think. Have I? No. Oh, yes I have. A little bit of steam. And again, I can smell the starch, which is beautiful. I would use steam at this point, just to help the starch. Look at that now. That's going to be lovely. Okay, so that's that part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the machine and we're going to top stitch this over there. You can see the seam there. It's going to cover that. Okay. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to top stitch this bit down now. This is not the 1/4 inch. I'm literally going to go about 2 or 3 millimeters in that side, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm actually going to go down that side as well. You don't have to do both sides. Oh, and the other thing is, because it's top stitching, I've put my stitch length up to 3, because the 1.8 or less is just when you're piecing. So I'm going to go along like that, and as I get further down, I'm just going to again, I'm butting up the raw edges underneath that as I go along, inch by inch. Almost following the stitching underneath, actually, just overlapping it a tiny bit. Then I'm going to flip it and come down the other side just to neaten it off. And I did that on the example in Alison's shop. So again, there's no, because this is already attached, now this is just finishing off, there's no holding seams or anything. I'm literally just going to come down there, eyeballing that 2 or 3 meters. Some of you like to draw the lines. You could do that. You could use a friction pen and draw your sew line in case you're worried about veering off. That's fine as well. And it's at this point now, it's only at this point that you would cut these off. I would use normally my rotary cutter, but I'm just going to use my scissors. And there. And then that's what you've got. Look how neat that is. And on the back, look. Absolutely perfect. If you have done the butting up and everything that I've just shown you, it will be perfect on the back sashing and the front. Now don't forget, I have used fabrics that completely are horrible with these fabrics of my blocks, and I've chosen white thread, but that was only for demonstration purposes. I probably would have chosen a nice dark teal, and I would have had matching cotton for the top. But don't forget, like the one in the shop, I had black on both sides. You can do either or. You can have the same colours on front and back or different. I hope that's helped you. The next little video will be about binding. Thanks, ladies.